The thing that's on every Manchester United fan's lips is Ruben Amorim. Everybody's talking about him. Everybody's kind of feeling like they've given up. I mean, I had a conversation with a lot of people who have said, oh, that there is having faith and actually backing the manager. And we're trying to separate both and have a conversation regarding that. I mean, I featured Jude on the channel yesterday talking about Ruben Amorim and all of the things with his formation, his philosophy, and all of that. And in truth, yeah, it's sad to see that Manchester United have not really progressed. It looks like we have not really progressed under Amorim, or is it that luck is not on his side or anything? But after the Manchester Derby defeat, everybody was expecting something from Ineos with regards to whether he's going to be backed or whether he's going to be sacked. And we got news. This was on Monday, stating that Amorim has the backing of the board and everything. And you think about it, you think about all the news that's been floating around. I mean, just simply checking online and just checking for Amorim news, and all you see is, potential replacements, what would be the impact of the sack, how much will he be paid, and all of that. Now, if we're going to just give a breakdown of just the Amorim news overall in the last 24 to 48 hours, in fact, since Monday, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim is basically facing pressure following a poor start to the 25-26 season. But you talk about poor starts. We've had 4 games, 1 win, 2 draws, 1 loss. Right? No, 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses, rather. 1 win, 1 loss, 2 draws. 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses. So it's basically the win against Burnley. Yeah, the win against Burnley, the draw against Fulham, the loss against top table contenders, Man City and Arsenal, people who finished second and third consecutively. Second and third respectively. Now, Manchester United manager is facing significant pressure following a poor start to the 25-26 season. And here's a summary of the latest news and updates surrounding Amorim. Now, under pressure, he's basically under pressure. And United's 3-0 loss to Man City intensified the scrutiny on Amorim's tenure. And the team, currently sits 14th in the Premier League and has been knocked out of the Carabao Cup. And he has the lowest win percentage of any permanent manager since World War II. That is a damning stat. But also the contract and potential payout, which is what I just talked about, is that Amorim signed a 2.5-year deal in November of 2024. But reports suggest that the compensation package of £12 million would be required if he were to be dismissed before November 1st of this year. And United paid Sporting £9.2 million to acquire him less than a year ago. Now, that's the concern, right? That's the news that came out the other day and all of that. And then we are hearing things like tactical inflexibility, which brings me to a question. I mean, what happened during Ten Hag? What really happened during Ten Hag's era as Man United manager? First season, we played Bournemouth and Brentford and we lost by high scores in those games, especially his first season. And he was like, we're trying to play out from the back. The hair was not good enough. Oh, this person is the problem. He had issues with Ronaldo and all that in that first season, very turbulent, and then ended with injuries and ended up winning the Carabao Cup. The FA Cup rather, against Manchester City in the final. And then obviously came into the second season, won the Carabao Cup, and you're like, okay, this guy is doing something, like he's winning. But then the media still kept pounding this guy, because at first it's like, oh, why can't you play the Ajax way? I remember that press conference very clearly. Why can't you play the Ajax way? And he says, oh, it's impossible to play the Ajax way and all of that. I mean, with basically stating that with this team it's difficult to play the Ajax way. And everybody's like, oh, but you came with you were brought in to play the Ajax way and you didn't play it and all that. Everybody was just on Erik Ten Hag. And at the end of the day, he changed. Like after 2 games against Brentford and Brighton, he changed to 4-2-3-1 from 4-3-3, which didn't work at the time. And then obviously started signing players that would suit the system, started signing players that, will fit his style of play, but then still didn't get the chance to play the style of play. So he stuck with his, like he said, adapted and stuck with his 4-2-3-1. And then that got him the sack in 2024 of November. So now, Ruben Amorim has been accused of the thing that they accused Ten Hag of doing. So Ten Hag was being flexible. They started losing faith and all of that. Now, they're accusing Amorim of being inflexible. So I don't know. You're doomed if you do. You're doomed if you don't. So I really don't know where we stand with all of this. I mean, critics are basically including former United players. Critics, including former United players and pundits, have also questioned Amorim's commitment to his 4-3-4-3. Recently Alex Crook said he is so married to that formation. Bro, he literally has used that formation all his life. That formation of 3-4-3, and it's just the formation. There are moving pieces within. I've listened to even Troy Deeney on another, video he released, and he spoke wisely and very deeply about it. But the truth is, no, pundits are going to say, oh, Amorim is this, Amorim, because United gives them clicks. And then we have that never-ending cycle of sacking managers and recycling and sacking. We sack managers. Troy Deeney said this. I'll probably release a video or my reaction to it on our socials as shorts or stuff. But Troy Deeney said we sack a manager, and then when we sack the manager, we get a new manager, we get the high, and then we dip. And then we complain, and then we scapegoat the manager or scapegoat the players, and then we sack the manager. It has happened for 5 managers. Think about this. Since Alex Ferguson left, Moyes, albeit Moyes had a bad start to the season, but compared to Ruben Amorim now, Moyes is looking good, right? David Moyes came in, and in 8 months or so, he was gone. Then we had the next manager. I think it was the next manager, Van Gaal. Van Gaal came in, he's sacked after winning the FA Cup. Then we move on to Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho came in, he's sacked after winning 2 trophies and coming third. And in his 3rd season, he was we won 2 trophies first season. Second season, we came 3rd, and then we came 2nd. And then he said that was his best season. In the 3rd season, he was sacked, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took interim charge when he came from Molde. So that's 3. So we had Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, 3, right? And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. I'm talking major managers right now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. We played fluid football. We played, free-flowing, counter-attacking, high-intensity game football. And then what happens? The next season, he gets Varane, he gets Casemiro, he gets Varane, Casemiro, and then he gets he gets Ronaldo, right? And Sancho in that season. Now Solskjaer comes in, he plays that fluid football. We came 2nd, we came 3rd, came 2nd in 2 seasons, but got to all finals in those periods and never won any. And then we have even COVID football. We played COVID football, we had only ball and everything, but they started calling him PE teacher. They started calling him one thing I heard in that time was he has lost the plot, right? That's one thing I heard in that time of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's period as Manchester United manager. Now we're talking Solskjaer came in I think he came in 2020, right? When he came in 2020, so came in 2020 So if we're looking at it, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, Solskjaer after Mourinho 18-19, Solskjaer came in 18-19, and then he had 12 wins, 4 draws and 5 losses in that season. Then 19-20, he had 18 wins, 12 draws and 8 losses, and then in 2020-2021 season, he had 21 wins, 11 draws and 6 losses. And these were in that season Solskjaer came in, we came 7th under Mourinho when Mourinho left. Solskjaer came in, we finished fourth, and then fifth, sixth, second, sixth, and then third. So he finished third in that season. And then I think in 21-22 season, 5 wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses. He was sacked. Michael Carrick took off for 1 game, for 2 games. I remember those games. I think one was against Arsenal, the other was against Chelsea. I think 1 win, 1 draw, and 0 losses. And then we had Rangnick in 21-22 season, who came and played 10 games, won 10 games, drew 7, lost 7. Then we had Ten Hag. Ten Hag came in, and we had 23 wins in his first season, 6 draws, and 9 losses. And we finished 8th in that season. And then the 22-23 season, 23-24 season, he had 18 wins, 6 draws, and 14 losses. And we finished 8th in that season. That was season we finished 8th. And then 24-25 season, Ten Hag finished 6th and 3rd. And then in 24-25 season, 3 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses, and he was sacked. Van Nistelrooy came on, took on 1 win, 1 draw, 2 games, and Amorim came on again. I'm talking about the Premier League alone. Amorim came on first season from November to basically the end of the season. 7 wins, 6 draws, and 14 losses. So it's like you have about 13 games without defeat and 14 losses. And then we have he had 1.0 points per game, right, on average. Meanwhile, the other managers, Ten Hag, in the last season, he had 1.2 points. The previous one, 1.6 points, and the other one, 2 points per game. And then now in this season, he has 25% win rate, right? And he has 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses. So we're seeing a similar pattern here. But in truth, everybody was berating Ten Hag for changing. Like I said, we had Rangnick and all of the Rangnick said we had a whole lot of things. It's like me giving you a history of the managers. But everybody berated Ten Hag for changing. And now we have Amorim, who has decided that, from day one, he told us, I am sticking to this. I am not changing. I am not changing until the players get used to it. There was one particular quote he made where he said, that it's better we suffer now to learn the style of play, the formation and everything, so that 1 year from now, we won't come back to this same conversation or question. But the conversation still went on all through, even up till now. Like, why haven't you changed? The results are not coming in. Maybe you could change something. Maybe you could, and he has to still school them all over again. In his most recent press conference, when he talked about the same style of play, he talked about that he wants a situation where the players will get used to this style of play and eventually be able to play it even with eyes closed. So we have to think about it. We have to decide what we want as Manchester United fans. So with regards to his potential payout, he gets 12 million if he is to be dismissed before November 1. Now, with his tactical flexibility that they accused him of, includes former United players and pundits who have criticized or questioned Amorim's commitment to his 3-4-3 system when it appears ineffective. He has stated that he will not change his philosophy, suggesting that if change is needed, it will require a new manager. Now, let's get the point here. He says, I will not change my philosophy. So the philosophy is different from the system. And the system is also different from the formation. Formation could be, I saw a clip by The Sun. I think someone was analyzing and talking about formation being like placing cones on the field and placing players in the position. I've coached, so I can tell you that, like placing cones on the field and placing players in the positions of those cones. So the formation is the cones of 3. That's 1, 3, 4, 3, where everybody is supposed to be on the field. So this is the best way I can explain formation, where everybody is supposed to be on the field. 1, 3, 4, 3. Right? Then, when we now talk about system is how the team plays in that 1-3-4-3, where they position themselves moving in that 1-3-4-3. When you talk about philosophy or potentially style of play, you talk about how does the team play. Is it from playing out from the back? Is it high flying wingers? Is it inverted forwards? That is the style of play. Now, Ruben Amorim has said, I will not change my philosophy. And you can marry philosophy and style of play, or philosophy and system together, but you can't marry system and formation, right? The formation is not the issue. It can be systems within the formation. It can be styles of play within the formation. It can be who gets the ball first when, like, for example, a goalkeeper gets the ball, is holding the ball and wants to play out from the back. And then it's now who is the first person to receive the ball. Is it one person, Matthias de Ligt, or the deep line playmaker, Bruno, or even the defensive midfielder in Ugarte or Casemiro? Are they the first persons to hold the ball? And what happens when we are in 4 pillars? Let me just give you 4 pillars here of football. So we have the defense, we have the attack, we have the in possession, and we have the out of possession. These are the 4 pillars of coaching in football. Now, what happens when we are with the ball? What happens when we are without the ball? What happens when we are defending? What happens when we are attacking? What are the movements? Is it overlapping run? Is it underlapping run? Is it third man runs? What kind of runs are we making in that, within that formation, within that system? Who is where when Casemiro is holding the ball? Who is where when Bruno is holding the ball? Who is stretching the play? Who is playing higher up? Who is playing lower? Who is defending? What's his role? Who is the screener? Who is the sweeper? These are the roles within the system and the philosophy of the player, of the manager. These are the things. So these are the intricacies. And when he says, oh, you don't know what's going on, people will say, oh, you and I know. You and I know that this thing is not working, or it has never worked. But we know that I can name 3 teams in the Premier League that are using this formation. They've won a trophy with the formation. And Crystal Palace, case in point, Oliver Glasner has used this formation. Wolves, albeit right now they're at the bottom, but when they first came, when they had that run last season, they were playing this exact system. Victor Pereira was playing this exact system. So what are we talking about? Then there's also the report that, and he says he won't change, and I like it because he's stubborn. We asked for it. Someone who we have is, because I remember rival fans were accusing Manchester United of not having a style of play. Now we have a style of play. Now we have a system. The manager says, I am not changing this philosophy. I remember I have those press conference receipts. So I am not changing this philosophy. I am not changing. If you require a change, then you have to change the man, which means you have to require a new manager for that. He even referred to Ten Hag, oh, the old manager, this, and then I came and changed. I mean, he changed everything from scratch. Now he's using if we're talking about availability of players, current players in the squad, we're talking about players who have basically been there since maybe Ten Hag, right? Since Van Gaal. We have Luke Shaw, who was signed by Van Gaal. We have Mourinho's players are still here. Mourinho's player, Diogo Dalot, was signed by Mourinho. One of the last Mourinho players, Victor Lindelof, has left. We have players signed by Solskjaer, Maguire. We have players who are signed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then we have players who are signed by Erik ten Hag. Players who are signed by Erik ten Hag are pretty much straightforward there. We have Casemiro. We also have loads of players in the defense. Even Euro was signed under Ten Hag. What's his name? De Ligt was signed under Ten Hag. Albeit they're all system players, but they were signed under Ten Hag. The only players that Ruben Amorim has signed, Diego Leon, Benjamin Sesko, Diego Leon, Benjamin Sesko, Patrick Dogu. We have Brian Bumo, Matheus Cunha. Even Bruno was signed under Ole. We're talking about Ugarte under Ten Hag. If we're to go through the starting lineup, right? Rasmus Højlund was signed under Ten Hag. He's been let go on loan. Rashford came even under Van Gaal. Think about it. Sancho under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Garnacho came under Ten Hag. He wasn't signed under Ten Hag, but he came under Ten Hag. These are the things, these are the issues right? Now, there's also rumors of, and this is how it starts. You have rumors like these. Rumors of player concerns. Reports indicate that some senior players are losing confidence in Amorim. Who are the senior players? Because I only know a few senior players in the squad. Oh, Casemiro, Bruno, Shaw, Maguire. Who are the senior players that are losing confidence? Just somebody will just peddle one, maybe I think it was Daily Mail, peddle one rumor and boom, everything blows out. Senior players have indicates that there are some concerns, you know. I mean, they've lost confidence. Or losing confidence. Like, why are we doing this? And then we have the club hierarchy stance. Despite growing pressure, sources close to the club suggest that Amorim retains the support of the United hierarchy. But then the news outlets will go on to make a list of potential. Now, there's also reports stating that there are three crucial games. I mean, the next three matches against Chelsea at home, Brentford away, and Sunderland at home are considered critical for Amorim to demonstrate an improvement in the team's performance. Amorim is saying the team's playing better. We can see that the team is playing better, but we're not finishing our chances. Okay, then we'll talk about potential replacements. We've talked about potential replacements. We'll do that analysis in another video. We'll talk deeper about the potential replacements and all of that. But potential replacements, several names have been mentioned as potential replacements, and if Amorim is sacked, they include Michael Carrick. Obviously, I think he's out of a job at Middlesbrough, I think he's out of a job now. Let me just quickly have a look. Michael Carrick is, I think he's no longer at, because I was following his progress at Middlesbrough, and he got to the playoff and then he lost. I think, I think, so for Michael Carrick, I think he's out of a job. Let me see. After being sacked, he was sacked by Middlesbrough at the end of the campaign. He was sacked by Middlesbrough before the season began, right? But looking at his coaching career, just to give you a hint of an idea was, so in the second season with Borough, Carrick guided Middlesbrough to semi-final. So he joined Middlesbrough in 2022 after leaving Manchester United. And then, just to give you a read, Middlesbrough were 21st in the Champions League in the Championship at the time of appointment, with 17 points and 16 games played, 1 point above relegation. Despite taking the lead, Middlesbrough lost Carrick's first game in charge 2-1 away at Preston North End on 29th October of that 2022. Carrick won 16 of his first 23 Middlesbrough games as the club began to climb the table. On 7th of December 2022, Carrick was nominated EFL Championship Manager of the Month for the EFL Championship Manager of the Month award for November, after his first calendar month in charge. 10 points from 4 matches, scoring 13 goals along the way, saw him win an award for March 2023. After guiding his side to 4th place finish, Middlesbrough lost in the playoff semi-finals to Coventry. This was in 2023. Now, in his second season, Carrick guided Middlesbrough to semi-finals of the FA Cup for the first time since 2004. Middlesbrough won the first leg 1-0 against Chelsea, lost 6-1 on the return fixture. Middlesbrough ended their 2023-24 campaign in 8th position. On 3rd June 2024, Carrick signed a new 3-year contract. On 4th June 2025, 1 year later, Carrick was sacked by Middlesbrough following a 10th place finish. Think about it. So, he's been mentioned as one of the potential managers to take over. Gareth Southgate again, which everybody would be. In fact, and I don't see any Man United fan who agree to this Gareth Southgate. I would rather take Michael Carrick, but we're going to break down all of these in another video. Gareth Southgate is mentioned, Mauricio Pochettino is mentioned, Oliver Glasner. Mauricio Pochettino, I'm not even going towards that. Oliver Glasner, maybe I could think about it. Marco Silva, maybe. Andoni Iraola, maybe. So these are the issues. And then there has also been, with regards to Ruben Amorim, Benfica interest. There have been reports linking him with a potential move to Benfica, with the leading presidential candidate reportedly interested in bringing him to the club. But now we hear Mourinho it's a here we go. They've agreed verbal agreement. In 24 hours, the deal will be sealed and he will start his Champions League game. Then we'll have to also consider financial considerations. The cost of dismissing Amorim before he completes a full year at the club is reportedly influencing the timing of any potential decision by the management. But also there's players' views. According to the transfer insider, those close to Kobbie Mainoo believe that Amorim doesn't have faith in the young midfielder's abilities, and that's just basically just the annoying part of all of these things, right? Just the annoying part of all of these things. And some of the peddlers of these kinds of news are Manchester Evening News. They peddle a whole lot. But there's this news, I think, from Sky Sports saying that that with 4 points from the opening 4 games, United have endured the worst start to a Premier League season since 1993. They always bring up the stats. I'll bring up another stat that nobody is talking about, but I saw it on X. He said they also went out of the Carabao Cup, blah, 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 blah. After the season, it's a painful watch. Amorim acknowledges and understands the supporters are hurting, but says he is suffering still more as he battles to turn things around. Now, Man United feel that they are losing out on fine margins. Basically, that's pretty much what Sky Sports have said. Now, we will not forget that the injuries to Cunha and Mount have affected Manchester United in a way, at least against Manchester City, because Mount has added something to the team. Cunha also adds something to the team, but it is what it is. Now, we're going to go with stats that most people don't see with regards to the 24-25 season so far, 25-26 season so far. Everybody keeps talking about, basically, things are happening this way. Man United are not winning. It's not working, and this and that. People say it's not working, right? Now, Manchester United attacking stats 25-26 season. This was also posted by Sky Sports. It says goals for 8th on the league, on the log, ranked 8th in the league. Expected goals, XG. Everybody's talking about XG. They don't know what XG is. We're supposed to have scored 6 goals, 6.78 goals so far, right? So XG, expected goals, we are first on the table. Shots, 58, we are first on the table. Shots on target, 16, we are second on the table. Chances created, 45, we are first on the table. Touches in the opposition box, 99, we are first on the table. Goals from open play, we are 1. We have 1. We are 17th on the table. Shot conversion rate, we are 6.9%, which is 16th on the table. XG performance, minus 2.7, 19th on the table. If we're talking about, if we're able, like the truth is, if we are scoring our goals, finishing our chances, say we scored a lot of goals in the Fulham game, we scored a lot of goals in Burnley game, we scored a lot of goals in other games, then we could potentially say, okay, now we're winning, but we're not playing well. Manchester City played Manchester United and finished the job, literally. So what are we talking about? Now, I'm not saying, that the manager is not at fault. I'm not saying that the players are not at fault. I'm saying Manchester United have a new culture right now. And that new culture is scapegoating. Scapegoating, the culture has been there for years. If I'm not mistaken, the last maybe... this is 2025, so the last 13 years, maybe since 2013, scapegoating culture. That's what we have, where we scapegoat players, scapegoat managers, we just find the one person to blame. At the beginning of the season was, Ugarte. We didn't hear. Next thing we're hearing, he's not playing Mainoo. It's Mainoo. Mainoo needs to be in this team. Mainoo, this, that. Next thing we're hearing, it's Bruno. Bruno is the reason why we are losing. Bruno is the reason why we lost that game. Bruno is the reason why we drew the game. Bruno this, Bruno that. Bruno this, Bruno that. Casemiro, his legs are gone. I'm like, why can't we just, for once, look at the overarching issue, the whole issue, and then deal with it and then talk about it in a sensible way than just looking for blames. Yes, a lot of people are tired, a lot of people are done and all of that. It is one thing to be tired and done, it's another thing to back the manager. Truth is, as a Manchester United fan, you might not call me a real Man United fan. You might call me a real Man United fan. You might call yourself the realest Man United fan. I will back the manager. Day in, day out, I'll back the manager. I will back him till the end. Because in truth, that's what we need. We don't need all this cycle of sacking, rehiring, sacking, rehiring, sacking, rehiring. We need to back the manager no matter what. We don't, trust me, we expect that obviously that Ruben Amorim should deliver. But how will he deliver when we as fans are already killing him? Like, what I mean, we're already slating him no matter what the situation is. I mean, look at the new signings. The only players that have turned up, if the three major signings were signed, Cunha and Mbeumo. Benjamin Sesko is still adapting to life in the Premier League. And there's optimism that he's beginning to feel more comfortable, albeit with very limited service. How many times has he got service in the box? That was his first Premier League start was on Sunday. Right? So now everybody's talking about different. He's defiant or he's stubborn over his playing system with defiant three center backs. It's very much a live debate. This according to Sky Sports. He says, when I want to change my philosophy, I will change. Now, you see, they talk about systems, they talk about formations, but his response is, when I want to change my philosophy, I will change. That's what he said. If not, you have to change the man. And I like it. He's stubborn. Then we hear stuff like, oh, Mainoo this, Mainoo that, Mainoo this, Mainoo that. Mainoo came in on Saturday, no doubt. Like, we all know the capability and the capacity of Mainoo, right? Ruben Amorim has said he believes in Mainoo and he is expecting certain things from him. And Mainoo will get time. He says, young player, there's something he said, and I always analyze his press conferences. He said, young players should understand that there are certain phases in a season. Right? There are certain phases in the season and they will get times to play. He played against Grimsby. Everybody saw that he played against Grimsby. And everybody knew that, obviously, he had no control of the game. But the moment Bruno came into that Grimsby Town game and played in midfield with Kobbie Mainoo, the game was calm. The game had control. Mainoo is still 20. He hasn't really he has hit the ground running, but hasn't hit the ground running consistently. So we need to allow this guy to cook properly. Right? Now, people are saying that United's midfield is struggling to hold its own so far this season. Amorim is repeatedly overlooking the talent in Kobbie Mainoo. Right? Now, they said, oh, obviously we all saw it. He looked very bright when he came off the bench for the last 30 minutes against City. With that, again, he has prompted many United fans to ask why he's yet to start a Premier League game this season, right? But what is clear is that Amorim doesn't think he's a finished article. That's what he said. And that the 20-year-old still needs to develop. And the boss is working hard and personally with Mainoo behind the scenes. But rightly or wrongly, Mainoo's involvement will be managed, and he's not currently in Amorim's first choice lineup. Amorim's system requires a ball-playing midfielder and a defensive midfielder in the midfield too. Now, everybody's talking about the midfield two. Now, if we play a 4-2-3-1, there's still going to be a midfield two. Yes, quite right. You say, oh, there's going to be a defensive midfield two, blah, 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 blah. We play a 4-2-3-1. The defensive midfield two is going to definitely be Ugarte and Casemiro. And then, obviously, or Ugarte and Mainoo, or Casemiro and... So there has to be there will be a battle for who plays in those two roles, 2 6s or double pivot. And then we move Bruno up top to front behind them. Because you won't move Mainoo there, because Mainoo that's not his forte. He can play it, but that's not his forte. He's not going to be running back and forth. Then you have a Bruno playing on top of that, in front of those two. And then you play Cunha and Mbeumo on left and right, and then Sesko up top. You have that, and then Mainoo still has to battle to play that position. 4-2-3-1. He played it under Ten Hag. Albeit he lacked that defensive edge, but he's your central midfielder, like your Jao Neves. Sorry, I had to compare him, but Jao Neves, or probably even like your Vitinha. You know, not defensively astute, but very good ball playing guy. That's your Mainoo for you. But in this system, he's the kind of player that would play very well with a defensive midfielder. Then you say, okay, play him ahead of Bruno, and Bruno should be kicked out the squad. Fine, you play him ahead of Bruno. He makes one or two mistakes. You heap boiling water on top of Mainoo. Think about it. So everybody needs to take a chill pill and understand that basically that Mainoo deserves chance in this team, but also deserves to be embedded slowly into the team. But that's what Manchester United fans are missing. So we're going to talk on and on and on and on and on and talk about this whole Amorim situation and all of that. The board is backing him. I am backing him. Man United fans, some Man United fans need to back him. The fact that he's stubborn doesn't make him a bad manager. There must be something that is wrong that is affecting him as a manager, especially when it comes to the club. But we can only talk, we can only have conversations about this. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about this whole Amorim situation. We will talk and we will, talk from now till tomorrow about Ruben Amorim. But the truth is, if you don't back him and you don't fight against like the narratives that are being pushed by the media, we'll continue to go through this cycle over and over again with managers coming in and losing it when they get to a certain stage. The pressure will make them cave in. We need to create an environment for these managers to thrive at Manchester United. We as fans have the power to do that. If we have the power to get a manager sacked, we also have the power to get a manager to thrive. This environment hasn't been the best for him to thrive. The players, Ruben Amorim needed a midfielder in the summer. He didn't get it. He needed a defensive midfielder, an athletic, ball-carrying, ball-playing midfielder. He didn't get it. Okay, we have an attacking depth. Say, for example, Mr. Cunha, Bumo, Xerxes, and the likes. And then two of his attacking pressers get injured. What happens next? His ball-carrying attacking midfielder gets injured. What happens next? When I looked at the bench against City, we had nothing. We literally had just Xerxes, Casemiro to come on, and Mainoo. That's it. No other depth. No other player that can change something up top. Think about it, guys. If Mbumo gets injured now, we are cooked. Ahmad is not having so much of a good season. Guess what? People are already scapegoating Ahmad. Think about it, guys. Come on. Anyway, let's end it here. Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.